Hi, I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. This topic is, I thought marriage was supposed to be filled with love and happiness. What happened? Well, it's very interesting. I can tell you what happens. In fact, I identified the 3 killers of marriage because that's what you're experiencing now. You're experiencing the 3 killers, all right? The number 1 killer I labeled overfamiliarity. What does that mean? That means that when you're with somebody all the time, because of human nature, not because of who you are, you're God's creation, you're beautiful, but because of human nature, we start seeing the other's flaws. We see the errors that they make. We see the idiosyncrasies. And because of our minds and how they're designed to protect us, and that's a whole long story that I get into in the books and in our online courses, but the mind picks out, nitpicks all the bad stuff. And overfamiliarity means that we stop seeing the good stuff, and all we see is the bad stuff. There's like an eclipse effect. You know, if there's one pole standing between you and the ball game, you're going to miss the ball game because that pole is right in front of you. That pole is your husband's or your wife's personality, traits, idiosyncrasies, and that's what you're going to start focusing on. And you're not going to move your head from side to side. You know, when I worked with couples, and I worked with couples and individuals for 8 years, building out this science of marriage that we now have at the Marriage Foundation, one of the first things that I did to exemplify this is because I was a divorce mediator before. In 2001 is when I changed, so I had a 4x8 whiteboard, and I would take one of the markers and I would put 7 or 8 marks on the board. And sometimes I would pretend to be kind of putting them in a pattern. I wanted to fool them, but I didn't have to do that. I would ask, what do you see? And everyone, over the course of 8 years, hundreds of individuals said, well, I see 7 or 8 marks. Some people would say, well, I see kind of a pattern. No, don't go there. I see 7 or 8 marks. Right. We have a whiteboard, pure white, very expensive whiteboard, really nice white. But what they saw, because of how the mind works, are the marks. You see? And this is what our mind does. So this is what happens. Yes, marriage is filled with joy. It is filled with happiness. However, so is a brand new Maserati. It's filled with psychological happiness, the thrill of driving a beautiful car, listening to a great sound system. Now imagine that you never learned how to drive. And I say, here, and I open the door for you, and you get into the Maserati. You don't even know how to start the thing, but you get in, you figure out how to start it. You know how long it's going to take before you're in an accident? Not long, not long. Or use the example of an airplane. You're learning how to fly. It's so complicated, but it's simple in its all complexity. You can learn it. And it's the same with marriage. You can learn it. And when you learn it, you can manage everything. You understand everything. You're not reacting to everything. You're not seeing your spouse's flaws. You're not seeing the negative. Because you're going to train yourself to look past all of that stuff, to transcend all of that stuff and go back to the basics. You got married because you wanted to be happy. You got married because you wanted to feel that love. And when you understand marriage and you know how to do it, that love grows and grows and grows without end. Why? Because love is a spiritual thing. It has no beginning, it has no end. It's infinite. It's perfection. And when we tap into that, and you can learn how, and it's one of the things that I teach you along the way, when you learn how to tap into that love, man, you're on a ride forever of joy. And that's what you signed up for. It is. You have the right to expect it. You should expect it, but it's up to you to learn how to achieve it. You know, it's amazing. Everything we do in life, everything. We know we need to get an education before we start going for it. Everything. I met a guy not too long ago who was learning how to windsurf. And I thought, wow, I've seen it. It looks pretty fun and it looks pretty easy. He was explaining you could drown real easily. It takes 12 lessons before any intelligent person attempts it on their own. And that's just handling a little kite out on the water. Marriage is complicated too. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to end up where you are now. It's not too late. You can learn. You can adjust everything. As you learn, you'll want to. It's like, let's use the Maserati. And let's say it's a standard shift. And you manage to get it going. And it's in first gear. And you're driving at 80 miles an hour in first gear. And you're hearing, and you go, that doesn't sound right. But no one taught you how to put it in the second gear. You're going to just ruin that engine. And that's what you're doing. Learn about marriage. Let me teach you everything you need to know about marriage. It's simple once you understand it. And then, wow, then you're right. Marriage is all about joy. Marriage is all about love. You didn't get that wrong, but now it's up to you. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. I'm so glad you stopped by because this is important stuff. God bless you and take care.